The following podcast has been brought to you by McCarty Media.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Season 3, only Episode 2 of the Maritime Witch. It's been a minute. We kind of lost our way. So, what's been going on? Well, I got sick in December and landed in the hospital. I think maybe we talked about that in the very first episode way back when. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Ended up on medication, and then I didn't really do well on the medication. So it's taken me a little while to recover from that. And then Sean got really busy with sound work.
Yeah, a little.
And I was transitioning into a new role at work. I'm in there now. So that took a lot of time as well. And then in March, I got what I like to call the fuzzy blanket cold. I was looking for a pair of sneakers. I went to Winners. I touched a fuzzy blanket, and I'm quite sure 9 million other people had touched it. And 3 days later, I had the common cold. So then I recovered from that. And then the end of April, as I was about to go on vacation, I got the plague. And then I gave it to you.
Yep. And on top of all of that, we're a little bit lazy.
Yeah. It's once you kind of lose your groove, it's kind of hard to get back in. One thing I will say though, and it does kind of pertain to some of the things that we've talked about in the podcast, is while we were down with whatever it was we had at the end of April, we had a nasty cough, and we actually used it was on YouTube. It was a frequency healing for a cough. And I have to tell you, I'm a believer, because as hard as I was coughing, I stopped instantly. So if anybody out there finds himself in that situation, just, pop me an email or send me a DM on on the Facebook page, and I'll hook you up with the link, because I stopped coughing instantly. It wasn't a cure, but it did allow me to sleep. And then 3 days later, after I infected you, I played it for you. And the same thing happened with you. You just stopped coughing. And very relaxing. I got a really good night's sleep. And every time I found myself really starting to cough, then I would put that on, and yeah, it really worked well.
Some people might say, well, that's all in your head, but you know what?
If it works.
Who cares if it's all in your head?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I'm also going to be moving into a very busy time at work. My place of employment is moving into a new core computer system. So there's lots of changes there as well. So we're kind of here, and I'm not sure when we'll be back.
We might be missing in action for a little while.
Well, who knows, but we did say at the beginning of this year that, we did, life is busy, and that there are some things. We knew that this was going to be a busy year for both of us, you with your sound work and new projects on the go, and myself as well.
As it is with everybody.
Yeah, so we're just going to try to, stop in as much as we can, and, throw out an episode here and there whenever we can. And, my intention when I started this was to, do every 2 weeks, and then it got down to a month, and, and to have all these special guests. And it's hard. It's really hard to get connected with people, because we are all so busy. And, with the economic times being what they are, us being a little bit out, it's kind of hard to expect people to travel any distance. And it's just, we're all trying to just kind of put one foot in front of the other right now.
Put one foot in front of the other.
And, we're all trying to make ends meet at the grocery store. and everywhere else, but especially the grocery store. But that's a whole other ball of wax and has absolutely nothing to do with this podcast.
That'd be quite the popular podcast if we...
The grocery store prices?
Yeah. If we had a podcast on grocery store prices, that'd be popular.
Could we turn that into witchcraft somehow? I'm sure we could. Your witchcraft supplies, your herbs and spices and ingredients for, whatever you're cooking in your cauldron.
And how you had to sell the cauldron because you can't afford to put stuff in it anymore.
And then you just don't have a cauldron to piss in.
No. Could have said a cauldron to pee in, maybe, I guess.
Well, I could have, but it just doesn't sound the same. So
it doesn't have that big oomph.
I know. Yeah. So anyways, it's just things that we like to do, things that we love to do, just kind of take a back seat right now to the things we have to do. But anyways, so moving forward, we actually do have a topic now that I've given you the sad sob story of my life since December. And so our topic is actually going to be candle magic. Now, some of this is going to be a little repetitive just for some things that we have discussed in prior podcasts. So when you're doing spell work with candles, you want to, as much as you can, associate the color of your candle with what you are trying to achieve for an end result. I am going to post a picture of the chart of colors on the Facebook page. And your candle becomes the energy of your spell, kind of like the battery, if you will. Some spells call for small candles, some call for larger candles. I'll touch on that in a second. When you do have your candles, you can dress them. I don't mean, stick on jeans and a ball cap, but you can anoint them with oils. You can put sigils and symbols. You can carve them into the wax with a pin, and you can roll them also in herbs, whatever you need to make your spell work. Some stores actually sell candles that are pre-made for spell work, and your small candles are good for really quick energy work that require you to burn the candle down. If you're using a large candle, you're going to be there for hours and hours on end waiting for the candle to burn down, which, as we've just said, life is busy. We just don't have time to do that. I'm a big fan of the birthday candles because they're so little and they really melt down to nothing very quickly. You can use larger candles. Jar candles are really good for spell work that requires you to light them every day for a period of time. Now, there is a discussion to be had over the type of candle that you use. And I don't mean by size, but the actual type of wax that is used. I do know that some people have had allergic reactions from soy, and beeswax is kind of top of the list for the best candles that you can buy because they are natural. They're made they come with natural energy, and they actually also purify your air. Using a paraffin wax candle is, as it burns, you can be putting chemicals and toxins into the air. So, you want to be careful with that. You can also make your own candles if you are adventurous. That way your energy and your intention is throughout the entire process. I have made my own. I actually made candles in a youth group when I was a kid, and it's a lot of fun. And then just recently, just a few years ago, I actually did buy a candle kit, and it was all done in the microwave, and it was actually quite a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And it really wasn't that messy. I was surprised. Once you've used stuff for a wax, it's, that's what it's going to be used for permanently. You're not going to bake cookies in the same bowl because you've got this melted wax residue. But yeah, it's not that difficult. And I don't think that it was really all that expensive. I know I did buy some of the candle making kit stuff online, maybe from Amazon. I'm not really sure. And the candle making kit itself, I actually bought at Michael's. I had a coupon, And I do believe at the time it was 40% off. So that really saved me a lot of money. And I highly recommend that. Actually, if you can get supplies at Michael's, if you download their app, you can usually get a coupon. I do believe it's gone from 50 to 40 and now to 30% off. So not as much as it used to be, but hey, any kind of savings is a saving. So especially, if you're trying something for the first time, you don't want to dive in and buy everything like I do.
You don't want to get burned.
You don't want to get burned.
There was an old lady who lived in a shoe. When a pan caught fire, she knew what to do. Don't pour water on a burning pot. And don't pick it up because it's hot, hot, hot. First turn off the heat, then try and smother the flames with a lid or a cover. Or better still, to guard against fire, use a thermally controlled deep fat fryer. The old lady knew just what to do. Do you?
Ha ha, here he comes with the jokes. You see, we haven't skipped a beat at all.
Speaking of drum beat.
You also want to make sure that you are in a fire safe space and that you are using fireproof surfaces and holders. Make sure that your candle is anchored properly into your holder because it's very easy for them to tip over. And we all know it's flames, it's fire, and, has that element of danger, obviously. And the wax, too, makes a darn mess. I remember I actually had, I think it was when we first met, I had this beautiful little dish. It was a clear dish, but it had gold all through it. I think it may have even been a fancy ashtray. I don't know. And I had a candle burning in it and it exploded. It completely shattered, like the wax and the heat and the flame, like it just completely shattered the glass and what a mess. And we were really lucky. Actually, I was really lucky. It was my apartment that I didn't catch the whole darn building on fire. So, but yeah, so be really, really careful with your supplies. We want everybody to practice their spell work, obviously, very safely. And the other thing that I do want to mention too is, pets and children. Making sure that, especially if you're using scented candles and essential oils, because there are some essential oils, as we have said before, this is where we go back to what we've talked about in previous podcasts, that some essential oils and aromatherapies can be toxic to your pets. And, quite honestly, probably your kids and yourself as well. And then there also is the wick itself. You can get, it's advisable that you get 100% cotton or a wooden wick, just because, again, you're releasing toxins into the air. It's funny actually, because I'm actually not really a big fan of burning candles. It's just something that I've never done. And just recently in the last couple of days, I like to throw out the wee word. I have been burning a scented candle and I actually looked at it this morning just to see what kind of wax it was made out of. And it doesn't really say.
It's that foreign stuff.
Well, it was a gift, I do believe. It smells nice. It's beautiful. It's vampire blood and it's a great smell. But I don't burn it for very long. We don't have any pets in the house anymore. They're all outside because they're all wild. And
so if it's vampire's blood, does that mean it's wicked?
Are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
Wicked. Oh, yeah. I just don't even have any answers anymore. I really don't. I just go. I'm just going to let you go. Just be free and let loose.
And I don't even drink anymore.
I know. No, neither of us do. So speak your intentions. Let's talk about the spell work itself. So speak your intentions. You can write your spell on a piece of paper. You can speak your intentions. If you have it written down on a piece of paper, you can place it underneath your candle holder or keep it on you. don't put it near the flame. You don't want stuff catching fire unless you are burning it in a fireproof dish at the end of your spell. But you're all smart people. You know how to do all this stuff anyways. And then, or you can keep it with you. You can keep it in your pocket. Whatever you feel that you need to do, get yourself grounded and centered and light your candles. And then some people too scry in the flames. And there is kind of I do believe I've downloaded the sheet and I will post it, what the flames look like, what they mean, if they burn tall, if they burn small, if they're flickering, if they're, like a steady flame. And some spells, it is recommended that you actually don't blow out your candle, that you actually snuff it out. So to get like a little candle snuffer. I remember in the church growing up, they actually had candle snuffers. And it's almost like a bell without the ringer. And you just kind of put it over the candle and it extinguishes the flame. At the end of your spell too, remember to, always be grateful, give thanks. The history of candles and candle making, actually, I did dive into that area too, because I know candles have been around for a long time and candles are widely used. They go back to around 3000 BC in Egypt. They have a religious significance, not just in witchcraft and spell work. We have used candles for light. We've used them for heat. And they are used in a lot of ceremonies, birthdays. For as long as I've had a lot of birthdays. And, you blow out the candles and make a wish. And I think we've discussed that in the podcast too. And, people light the unity candle at their weddings.
Some people keep them in a car because if you...
they say one of those little emergency candles because that can actually save your life.
Yes.
So...
keeps the temperature from going below zero.
Yep. And one thing that I didn't realize until I was actually kind of doing my research here is that you shouldn't burn like your jar candles, like your large ones. It's a little different if you're using like your small taper candles or whatever, because they're probably not going to last longer than 3-4 hours. But if you're using the big jar ones, you actually shouldn't burn them for more than 3 to 4 hours at a time because it actually can change the integrity of the wax. And I didn't know that. And oddly enough, when I was looking to see what my scented candle was made out of, the wax that was used, it actually does state on there to not burn for more than 3 or 4 hours, which I thought was kind of neat because, how many people just kind of light it in the morning? I mean, I don't really know what happens to it. But one other thing that they say too is that if you're burning your candle and you do snuff it out, allow the wax to completely reset, like let your candle cool completely before relighting it. And so, yeah.
They used to put candles on Christmas trees too.
Yeah, I had a friend when I was growing up. They used to do a mixture of, I think it was like a powdered detergent. It was a powdered soap anyways. And they would mix it really thickly with water and they would almost paint the Christmas tree limbs with this soap. And then they would put the candles on the tree and light the candles. But apparently the soap was a deterrent for fire.
Yeah, it still doesn't sound like the most smart thing to do, but...
Yeah, no, but they did. They used to put actual candles on the tree.
Because let's put some fire near things that burn.
Yeah. And, and do your research. And again, and I know we discussed this when we did the episode on the spell jars. When you're choosing the color of your candle, make sure it aligns with what it is you are trying to do in your spell work. So, if you are trying to attract something to you, money, friendship, love, you don't want to use a black candle. You don't want to be using a color for banishing and for, pushing anything away. So you want to make sure that you have all your correspondences and the same if you're using herbs and spices and oils, you want to make sure that all of the ingredients that you have are what you need for your spell work. And really and truly, if it comes right down to it, I know that a white candle can be used in any spell. That's kind of like your go-to if you can't find the color or don't have the color. Beeswax, I'm not really familiar as to whether that comes in an array of different colors. I know you can buy some specifically, like I said, candles made for spell work, and they come in all different sizes and shapes. And they also come in different waxes, but it boils down to research, definitely. But you know what? There's those little battery operated ones out there. And you know what? If that's what you're comfortable using, we have a lot of the battery operated, like the flameless candles. And they give out, I mean, there's no heat, but I mean, they certainly give off, you can buy like white light, you can buy yellow light candles. And, but we've also used candles as well for vigils. We put candles in the window to honor people. I remember when I was in the church, we did candle mass. We would do a candlelight ceremony. I remember having like the little tin foil wrapped around my candle as I was, walking down the aisles. And like I said, we hold candlelight vigils for people who are, perhaps in danger, or if there's been some kind of like a disaster and, in the world, and people will hold candlelight vigils.
You can also light a candle to release the Sanders sisters in Hocus Pocus.
But who lit the black flame candle?
Like I said, candles have been used for a lot of things, and they've been made out of a lot of ingredients, and they've been used from animal fat. They've been used for wax, but like I said before, the beeswax is kind of top of the list. It is like the best grade. And
I also remember us when we used to live in an apartment coming home.
I know where you're gonna.
And looking up in the window of somebody else's apartment and seeing that they had a candle, and the flame was awfully close to the curtain.
Nice lacy curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had to knock on the door and kind of let them know that their candle was about to light their curtains on fire.
Well, not just the curtains, probably the entire building. And I don't think it would have taken much.
Considering that our apartment was right across from theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. I mean, don't leave your candles unattended. I mean, I think we all are smart enough, obviously, to know that. What else can we say about candles? I think that was pretty much.
Oh, just in case everybody's like wondering, we still have pirate chicken here.
We do. Even he's tired. Come on, pirate chicken. You could do better than that. There we go.
We should almost post a picture of pirate chicken.
Well, I could do that.
So everybody knows what pirate chicken looks like.
Yep. So, yeah, going back to like the history. So I did find it in my notes here about the candlelight vigils. It's also been used for, social causes. People will have candlelight ceremonies, and, you can light candles for unity, hope, and remembrance. And they're also widely used in Day of the Dead celebrations as well to, guide the spirits of the deceased loved ones back into the world of the living.
What's that called again? Like Oscar de la Hoya or something? Or
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, that's it. That was pretty close.
Yes, you were, honey. Yeah, we're very close. That was a good job.
Yay, me.
I think that was all I had on my notes. Shout outs. Well, I haven't really I don't have any shout outs. I know that there is a fair coming up the end of July in the Valley. I don't have the details in front of me on that one. And I'm really hoping that we're back before the end of July. And I haven't really seen anything on Facebook or any social media about any upcoming shows. I might be wrong. For June, I know that I'm kind of out of commission for the month of June because of work. So hopefully we'll be back early July and with a very, riveting topic, as well as some shout outs as well. And
Paint drying.
yeah. So we hope everybody's been really doing well, and sorry that we haven't been here more often. And like I said, hopefully moving forward for the rest of this year, then hopefully we can be a little bit more of a presence. And if you stuck around and you're still listening to us, well, thank you very much, because we do really appreciate the support. And if you have any suggestions or comments, again, don't be shy. Email us at themaritimewitch@gmail.com. And you can also DM us on the Facebook page as well.
Any future ideas? Yeah, just email us.
Yeah. And, well, this was fun. It's kind of nice to be back. And hopefully, like I said, it won't be as long next time. And in the meantime, may the universe find you safe, happy, and healthy. Blessed be. I think that's what I usually say. I don't know. It's been so long.
Blessed be another 3 months before we're back.
Brought to you by McCarty Media.